Welcome back, adventurers. My name is Eli, the Game Master, and this is A Good Day to Die. Last time that we spoke, we had done a intro video where we got to meet all of our players, and they talked a little bit about their characters, what they were playing, and what our favorite things about tabletop role-playing games are. Tonight, we are starting the first session of our new homebrew campaign. Woo! Yay! So, without going into too much detail about what everything is about, each one of the characters are going to be introduced in different moments. I'm going to start some of the players off in some spots, some in other spots, and others in kind of a group setting. And so to kind of make things easier, what I think we'll do is, as this is happening, I'll have the player just kind of introduce to you all what they look like and what they are doing, rather than me being like, oh, this is so-and-so, he looks like such and such, and blah, blah, blah. And just to be clear, none of the players really have any solid idea of what's going to happen. I've given them kind of a vague understanding of where they're starting at and what all that means, but nothing in extreme detail. So I think and also, I haven't even told them the title of the homebrew campaign that I've made yet. We are going to reveal that tonight. So, unless we have any questions, comments, quotes, jokes, insights, insults.
All of the above.
All those? No, we have all of those. Who's the BBEG? It's 3 goblins.
In a trench coat.
Trench coat required.
In a trench coat. We will go ahead. Also, I'm going to be dipping in and out of frame periodically. Sorry about that, everyone. We are going to go ahead and just start the session.
Buddy, with
Oh,
you.
you get comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Hey guys.
Much more cozy.
So, first off, we are going to start with Delaney's character. Character. That's all you are to us anymore. Character, go ahead and describe your Delaney to everyone.
After I recover from that stroke. My character is a small-framed child. Very dirty, blondish, brownish bangs. Not really like he has a stylist or lets it grow, and dad will occasionally give him a cut. It's like, here you go, son. The dad cut. Not quite a bowl cut. Very innocent looking face. You guys will probably see him for the most of the time wearing these glasses. They're rose-colored lenses. He does have some very, very, very faint markings along his cheeks that you kind of have to really pay attention to. Very human in nature, and just very small-framed. Simple, attire, robes. Nothing fancy. And that's young face. Imagine like a young Tom Holland.
About what age?
He would appear to be around.
Got you. So, and his name again?
His name to everybody will be Perry. His real name is Perrin. But he goes.
Got you.
I'll say it.
So, Perry. You find yourself standing in front of a window. You're in the castle in the kingdom. You have spent most of your life. You've been outside the castle walls maybe a few times in your life, but your father has been very, very strict about you not leaving the castle without him, or more specifically, just an escort.
Right.
To make sure when you go, you come back and you don't go anywhere that you're not supposed to. You stand looking outside the window of this castle out into the courtyard, where you see your father standing in wait as a chariot pulls up and the nobleman and his daughter step out to greet him. Your father, being the kind of business, straightforward gentleman that he is, has that emotionless expression as they step out, like he doesn't look happy to see them. It looks more like this is all business.
Everything's a formality.
Correct. Yeah. He does give a gentle greeting and a bow. The nobleman bows back. They begin to discuss, and as the girl steps out of the chariot, you recognize her as Tessaria. Tessaria and you have spoken a few times in the past, and she's been very interested because you're very close to the same age. To you, she seems just like another highborn, not really much to her that is fun, where you have been more mischievous. Castle, just trying to make trouble and fun wherever you can, and she is very, I read a book today, and it was about dragons and warriors in far-off lands, and you're like, cool, yeah, I want to see those, I don't want to read about them.
Exactly.
But she is pleasant enough, and she is close to your age. As she steps out of the chariot, you see her turn and look up at you as she gives a very kind of secretive and surprised wave just above the waistline when she makes eye contact.
A little like nonchalant.
Does a 19 beat your CMD?
My CMD?
Yes.
Oh, yes. It does.
So, as you kind of give her that returned wave, right? You feel your glasses suddenly lift off your face as the world is robbed of that rosy color that the glasses provide, and they just kind of off of your face. Standing on a stool next to you is Selv, your halfling friend, who just kind of flip off of your face. He puts your glasses on, and Selv has kind of shaggy brown hair that is mirrored on with the tops of his feet. He is wearing just the kind of clothes that are provided him for him to work in the castle. As he puts your glasses on, he kind of tilts his head and he says, "Barry's got a girlfriend," as he jumps off of the stool.
No, I don't. No.
Well, he says, looking down at the blonde-headed nobleborn in her blue dress, he says, "Is she your friend?
I guess.
Is she a girl?
As far as I know.
Then she's your girlfriend."
Uh-huh. Yeah. So you're my boyfriend?
He kind of like stops. He goes, "Man, you are popular in the castle," he says, as he kind of, you see your father begin to escort her father off, and she just kind of like gives you another excited wave as she starts to follow her off, right?
I kind of do that look like nudge him on.
He says, "What, you can't be seen without your glasses?" "Oh, come on." He says, "She's like 50 yards away. She can't tell."
Eeg. You know the last time I didn't see
Right. He's down there, he can't see you. Or plus, you could just blame it on me. It's not like...
he already does.
Whoa, he says. To be fair, he barely likes you.
Yeah, but you're a bad influence.
Oh, he says, "I'm a bad influence just because I happen to know that Pelram," he holds up a cherry between his middle finger and index finger, "just happened to get a shipment of fresh cherries," as he holds up another one between his ring finger and pinky finger, "in the kitchen, and, you know, he probably wouldn't mind if a couple," he flicks them to you, "go missing."
Probably. If father's occupied.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, he walks over to a kind of like a shelf or like a small bookshelf pressed up against the wall. He says, "And what your dad doesn't know," as he shifts it to the side, and you see there is like a loose stone. With a little effort, you see Selv just kind of push the stone out of the way, and you hear the stone against the floor kind of, and goes, "Won't hurt him."
I'm caught up in my studies.
"See? Pretty caught up is practically done," he says, as he crouches down and begins to make his way into the tunnel.
I kind of look around and stealthily walk into the
Roll that stealth check.
Okay. I know you're gonna.
Nice.
22.
First,
What?
that is a lot.
That is not.
At level 1,
Yes, sir.
he rolled a 4. This is how the campaign's gonna go.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Plus.
What?
I can't BS.
Somebody's cheating.
No, sir. No, sir.
By the way, I took the demigod template.
You told me to do that, right?
Shh,
I have. Okay.
So for Salve, it is a tight squeeze. Or for Salve, it's a comfortable squeeze. For you, it is a little bit tighter because you are taller than him, but your lithe figure is able to keep up with him. And with that roll, I'll just say you kind of like look to either side, step into the tunnel, hook your fingers into the bookshelf, and just kind of back into place as you tuck in and start to crawl through the tunnel. The tunnel is cool, and it seems to be kind of like an old vent that was never finished when the Masons began to build the castle, and it was like they blocked it up and then moved on, and it just happened to take a very bored, very clever halfling to have found it. And of course, this vent does lead in. As he, and let me bring this up for you. As he brings you into the kitchen, you see Pelram, the kind of pudgy dwarven chef, is standing kind of humming a tune to himself. Yeah. So we have our map brought up digitally on television. He's kind of humming to himself as you see him kneading dough, getting ready to make cherry pies for the nobleman and his daughter that had just. So Salve knows that Pelram is just as cool, as you are with him. So as he kind of pushes the ingredient shelf off to the side, he kind of looks to either side. As he sneaks out, he begins to slowly make his way towards Pelram. As he does so, Pelram kneading the dough and Salve kind of reaching over to the cherries, Pelram says, "What, 2 wasn't enough for you?" As he looks down at the halfling. Pelram is very corpulent. He looks like he enjoys his own cooking. He's got a double chin that is hidden beneath a very thick red beard. The top of his head is completely bald with long red hair that drapes down to his shoulders and the back. He has piercing green eyes, and he has these wrinkles on the sides of his eyes and the corners of his mouth from smiling so much. He does have a bulbous nose that always seems to have a red shade to it. And as he looks down at the halfling in mid-reach for the cherries, as he looks at the cherries, looks back at the dwarf and says, "No, I wasn't." He says, "Right." He says, 2 more. That's it. Take any more, I'm going to get in trouble. And if I get in trouble, we in trouble. The halfling goes, right. As he takes 2 more, roll me a perception check.
Not as ridiculous. 13.
With a 13, you see him say, right, as he takes 2 with one hand, and as he turns, you see him reach behind his back with the other hand, and he tips the bowl over, and cherries hit the ground and start spilling everywhere. You see Salve just kind of freeze in place as Pelram kind of...
At that point, I would jump out and start trying to help Pelram.
Right.
Because I don't want him to get in trouble.
Pelram looks down at you and he says, "Oh, Perry, are you here to take some of the cherries as well?" As he starts to kind of gather them up.
And offer assistance?
He smiles, he says, "My favorite thing about you, Pelram, my favorite thing about you, Perry, is," he lays his large hand on your shoulder and you can kind of feel the strength behind it, even though he is just a chef. He says, "You always mix your curiosity with your kindness." He smiles as he holds your shoulder and he begins to squeeze. You feel this pain kind of start to build up in your shoulder as his touch of kindness becomes a touch of a... You see his piercing green eyes gain a sense of malicious intent as they focus on you, and he begins to shake. The lighting in the kitchen begins to feel cold.
Calderon?
You see the veins in his face begin to turn black as this black void washes over his eyes.
Calderon, what do you? What is? I like start hitting his hand and like smacking him, trying.
Roll me a strength check.
Oh, Lord.
That is not good.
Not as impressive as your stealth.
So I rolled a 7. 5.
Oh. So you begin to kind of buckle under his weight. As the lights begin to turn black, just as dark as his eyes, you suddenly wake with a start. Air rushes into your lungs as you sit up and you realize that you were dreaming. It has been a week since the screams had started. It all started with the peasants outside of the castle wall. They locked everything down in quarantine. You could hear them from the castle every day, 7 days, screaming, the commotion. You would see guards leave the castle walls as if to maintain the peace. It never came. You find yourself sitting beneath the window that you were looking out into the courtyard where you saw your friend Tessaria. It is now void. No guards stand watch over the gates. The sky is dark, with the distant sound of thunder echoing.
That's spooky fast.
I'm on the edge.
Then scoot back, man.
Surprise you.
He was on his edge of his seat, telling him to scoot back.
So, real
Sorry. Hopefully that'll be a little
quick, we are
better.
having audio cutting out, not
It's-
just quiet.
Oh, it's cutting out.
Because you're so soft.
Okay, no, I think, yeah, because I've got a filter on. Sorry, guys. That's not what I meant to do. Stream starting soon, guys. So sorry.
Let's get test run. We'll roll it back and go from the beginning. What's more we're feeling?
Oh. Okay. Let's see.
So I need to know exactly what was wrong with the chef man.
Okay,
We'll find out.
so it's been 7 days in quarantine.
Yes. No one, you've seen people leave the castle, but no one has come back. And your father has told you to stay in the castle, and that was the last you saw of him, and that was yesterday.
Have I seen Palrum or Selv or Tessaria?
You have not seen Tessaria. As far as you know, she hasn't come to Amdros in some time, maybe a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Okay. So before all of this started to happen. Selv, however, you know lives outside of the castle walls. So of course, he hasn't been here since everything has started.
Okay.
And because all of this started outside the castle walls, you feel the worst, or you fear the worst for Selv. Your back kind of aches and you feel kind of stiff from having fallen asleep against the wall. It is the first real sleep that you've had since all of this started, and even then you feel like you might have been asleep for maybe a few hours at best. The distant sound of thunder, and you do know it's daytime, but there are dark clouds that have rolled in, giving everything this kind of dim ambient light over the kingdom. Every so often you still hear the screams outside the walls. They're distant, but if you're quiet, you can still hear them. Every so often, you do see guards kind of going back and forth. You haven't seen any nobility since this has happened, as if they've been whisked away or they are somewhere safe.
What has my father been doing in this time?
He only told you to stay in the castle, and and just like most of what he does, it seems secretive. He hasn't kept you informed. He hasn't spoken to you. He said, stay in the castle wall and do not leave. And you have seen him stern before, but this is the first time you really felt like he was serious. Like, you felt like you were...
Is he still in the castle?
You're not sure.
Okay.
It's been maybe 24 hours, and you have only stayed in that portion of the castle in this time.
Okay.
As you kind of like begin to roll your shoulders and like get ready, you see a guard turn the corner and look at you. He's holding a halberd in one hand with the Amdros colors of silver and gold decorating his armor. Yes. He stands at the far side of the hallway, kind of just draped in shadow. Something else that has occurred is most of the light in the castle has been put out intentionally. People have just doused all lights in the immediate area. That you're not sure why.
Okay.
Because the walls are up, people are still doing things, but they're carrying with them either torches or lanterns. This guard is an exception, however. With the dim light, do you have...
That's what I was just about to like.
Yeah.
One second.
Double check what kind of vision you have. Because this matters.
Dark vision.
I just see.
He got dark
You
vision.
have dark
I
vision?
do.
Okay.
As a human,
He stands at the end of the hallway, his helmet down over his face, in just what would be to him in pitch black. He kind of like tilts his head. He says, Perry, are you okay?
are you okay?
Of course I am. Your father sent me to get you, he says as he begins making his way towards you.
Sensing that motive.
Do that thing.
Let's hope it's
I don't.
ridiculous as your stealth.
9. No, it's not.
This guy's
With a 9, something is off.
Yeah.
You're not sure if it's aggression or if he's being cautious or if he's worried, but something definitely seems off as he begins making his way toward you.
He sent you for me?
Of course.
And where are we going?
We're going to meet him. He's in the council room. Now, he hasn't stopped walking this whole time.
I'm defensive about it, but I'm not. Council room is still in the castle. Okay.
He steps up to you. He reaches out for you.
Over 13.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he is a trained guard.
Yeah.
He lays his hand on you, and as he does, it's your nightmare come to life. When you look at his hand and then look up into the helmet, he stares back at you with these pitch black eyes. His skin is pale, and even through his glove, you can feel the chill of his hand, as if a grip of ice. He holds you, and without further explanation, he begins to open his mouth, and you see this black ichor begin to roll down his lips and chin.
May I attempt an escape artist check?
You may.
20.
20 with the escape artist?
Yeah.
Does that beat his CMD?
Probably not.
hopefully.
Hopefully, but probably not.
Depends on the level.
Start at level 5, man.
No. I'm sorry, what was it?
20.
Yes.
Oh.
So as he grabs you, you slip out of his grasp. He takes the halberd in both hands as he rears back with this kind of sinister grin on his face. He looks like he truly enjoys what's about to happen. And then suddenly you hear him scream out. He turns around and you see a kitchen knife has been plunged into the back of his shoulder as Powrum has stabbed the guard in the back. In doing so, you see blood shoot out from the wound and spray in a 10-foot area, hitting Powrum in the face, hitting the floor, and up the wall. Powrum screams in pain, and you hear this hissing noise. Roll me a perception check.
I'm not rolling too hard.
Oh dear God.
This got real heavy real fast.
15.
With a 15, you think at first it to be hot, because the way he screams and the sound of this hissing that it's making makes it sound like it's burning, like acid. But when you look, you see a rime of ice begin to form over the dark ichor as it makes contact with his skin. And you realize it's cold. As the guard drops the halberd, reaching back, trying to grab hold of the blade, but his armor preventing his movement, Powrum gripping his face, he looks at you, he says, "Perry, to the kitchen!"
Am I in that same hallway where there's
yeah.
Yeah, I do that thing.
You move
I move the thing as fast as I can.
All right. So as you begin to make your way through the tunnel, it would put you out here.
Okay.
Also, that is more the lighting.
Ooh, okay. I like it.
So, what do? And because of how small the tunnel is, you know they can't pursue you.
Right. Would I know the quickest way to our chambers? Like my father's chambers?
The quickest way to your father's chambers would definitely be through these double doors.
Would it lead me right back out to where they were, or no?
Yes and no. If you step directly out into the hallway to the right and around the corner is where all of this is taking
over
place.
here-ish. Okay.
Yeah.
But if I go left, it'd be to my father's chambers.
Correct.
I will attempt that.
Okay.
I can move 30 feet.
As you begin to make your way, 30, and then, of course, next round, about 12 seconds later, you hear footsteps coming down the hallway, and it sounds like they're rushing towards the door, almost in a panic.
Can I use a perception to try to figure out
Discern?
whose or what? The weight of the footsteps?
I'm going to say the DC of that, to tell if it's armored or not, is 15, and I'm going to say listening through the wall is going to give you a -5.
Oh, I would have had it. So the 15,
But
-5.
yeah. So you're
Okay.
unable to tell if it's armored or not. You just hear somebody booking.
If I had the time, then I would dive under the prep table and hide.
Scurry scamper.
Yes, you can do that in your next round.
Okay. With a 28.
28 to remain invisible.
Being small is really good for my decks.
You a small creature?
And for some other
Human.
I assume you're not actually on the ground under the table. You're hanging from
On the
bottom of the
style.
Like a chewed piece of gum. You're just like,
I am the table.
the table has eyes. You're just like. As you slide beneath the table, you hear them coming. You slide beneath the table. The doors burst open, bringing with them a cold and bitter wind. As the doors burst open, all doors open inward into a room. As they open up, you see Powrum step into the room. He's holding his face and he's breathing heavy. He turns around and he shuts and bars the door. Shutting the door, you hear the loud of him locking it, and you hear the jingle of keys as in desperation he begins to cough. He looks around. Barry, are you in here?
I'm hesitant because of the nightmares.
Okay.
just that was the trying to put myself in the body of a child and thinking like mentally I might be too scared in this moment to speak up. So I'm gonna wait a few minutes and see what happens.
He steps into the room. Perry, my boy, I know you're in here. Come on out. He begins to look from side to side. Come on. The guard's gone. We'll find your father. I'll get you out of here, he says. As he starts walking over to the cabinet that you had just come out of, and he like tilts and he looks down. Oh, Perry, my boy. You're losing your touch. You've left the closet open. Sorry, we had a glitch. You've left the closet open. I know you're here. As he turns to regard the rest of the room.
Would I know if dwarves have dark vision or not? That's probably something I would know, right?
Knowing Powram, go ahead and roll me a knowledge nature, and because you know him, I'll give you a +5.
So up to 15. 'Cause
I mean, yeah, sure.
I don't have it.
Correct.
Okay. 15.
Hey, nice. Yes, you do know Powram can see in the dark.
Okay.
So you both are on equal playing field
Yeah.
right now.
I would like to peek out and try to look at what his face looks like.
All right. Since you are peeking out, I need you to roll me another stealth. However, you do have full coverage. I'm going to give you another +5 to that.
Not 20.
Woo!
Where's that 20 of the session?
So you slide between the slits of the boards of the table, just kind of like a transparent piece of paper, and you're just kind of like looking around.
Just take my eyes out.
You just- as you look, he's wiping at his eye, and you see his eyes are starting to turn that black. The whites of his eyes are almost completely encompassed, and that like sizzling kind of frost burn on his face looks like it's teeming with that black ichor, like it's seeping into his skin. Now, something that you note about it with that nat 20 you just rolled is typically like with ink. You know how like ink looks just as black as it can be, but when you wash it over a surface, it gives kind of a lighter tint to where it is run thin. This doesn't do that. This like ichor that's rolling over his face stays that thick, viscous black, no matter where it is, whether it's in his beard, run thin of his skin, and even as he rubs at it. You see it roll over his hand, but it never leaves his face.
Is it as if the liquid is a thing? Would it be a dungeoneering thing?
That would be, we'll call that knowledge the planes. Do you have
don't
that?
think so. I think my studies
Oh boy.
were only in dungeoneering and local matters.
That's all Daddy thought to teach me.
Yep. He's like, here's these fun books with creatures in it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just fun reading. It was you need to know everything about them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was not fun.
Correct. So he begins to make his way into the room.
I just stay quiet as I can.
He walks past you and he stands in the baking area. As he does so, he grabs hold of the table and he flips it, shifting it over to one side and scattering all the contents thereon onto the floor. He does so, and this is a heavy wooden table, he does so with one hand. You know Powram to be strong,
But not that.
but not that strong.
Are there any other exits in this building? So there's the door that's barred.
There's the door that's barred, and there's the cabinet that you came from.
He didn't move it back, though.
He
No.
didn't seal it.
He spins in place when he realizes you are not there, and he looks to this side of the room.
I'm going to prepare to run into that little hole, depending on which table he decides to flip next. If I got lucky or not. did not get lucky. Oh no.
He grabs the table that you're under and he flips it, sending you crashing to the ground and sliding to a stop. He kind of tilts his head looking down at you and he says, Perry, you look surprised to see me. I'm your friend. I saved your life.
No, you're not my friend. You're sick. Power on, you're sick. There's something wrong.
No, Perry.
I'm
No.
like trying to like scoot back.
And I need you to roll me an initiative.
Oh no. I don't have any weapons or anything.
Nope. However,
Or armor.
you are in a kitchen.
I have nothing on my person, by the way.
Fireball. Just literally everywhere.
Where is that? Initiative, okay.
What'd you get?
12.
Oh boy.
That was a good run.
Well, that was fun, guys.
He didn't run, he hit.
Time for a new character.
So as he looks down at you, he's going to attempt a grapple check.
Of course he is.
Oh boy.
He got the grapple for days.
Does a 7 get you?
No, that's against my CMD, right?
I'm sorry, 9 against your CMD.
No.
Okay, he rolled very low.
Okay, I dodged out of that.
Yes. So he reaches to grab you, and you just kind of like slide between his hands as he tries. You're up.
Oh, I would just try to run for the. I don't have any combat expertise. I don't know how to disengage. I don't know anything about that. So I'm going to run for the.
He is going to attempt
Yeah,
an attack of opportunity against
Yeah.
you.
as one is wont to do.
Does a 6 hit you?
No,
I'm sorry, does this 8 hit you?
I don't think so. No. Oh, I am one dexterous mofo.
As you begin to run, he swings with a backhand trying to hit you. You're able to get Jaboom,
Can
or
I
you can
double
double move, but it will be a action to be able to slide into the hole.
Can I acrobatics into it? Can I dive?
Well, with the double move, you don't have a standard in acrobatics. I would argue it's a standard action.
With one move, can I move my 30 and then dive as my standard?
Roll my acrobatics
No.
to slide.
Why not?
I don't think that's a thing that do.
That's
You can take 2 move actions. You
Yes,
can replace your
but-
speed.
Correct, but to crawl into the hole is a standard action. Is
but
what
to
I'm
dive
saying.
into the hole.
And no, we're not doing that.
No?
No.
I think it's the same thing, pretty much. Diving and crawling.
But it's like opening a door. Door is a standard action.
Yeah.
So like to stop his forward motion and to get down to crawl in, because I did state it was a tight squeeze.
For most people, but not me.
For most people, but not for Self, your halfling companion.
So even if there's no way to take a
On your next turn.
half my movement to crawl,
On your next action, you can.
I feel like story shenanigans are happening here.
If you want to crawl in the tunnel, I'll let you crawl in the tunnel.
No.
But I'm going to say nah.
Okay. I feel like plot is afoot.
Of course it is. But you also didn't get pimp slapped by a dwarf. So there's that.
There's that. I would die. I do not have HP.
Dude, sorry. I can't help it.
So, as you run towards this cabinet, you drop down, getting ready to run into it, when suddenly it folds onto its sides as Powrum just pushes the cabinet over. He looks down at you with this sinister grin. What do you do?
So he blocked the pass?
Yes.
Okay.
He pushed over the cabinet in your way, sending the heavy wooden structure crashing
That
to the
I
ground.
know I cannot lift. With tears in my eyes, I turn and face him and attempt to take the keys from him.
You may.
Sleight of hand, right?
Yes.
Against his CMD.
Yes.
17.
As he slams that to the ground, he looks up at you, and you kind of like go to shove him. You hit him, and he just does not move. He just, and he's just like a solid wall. And you feel the chill beneath your palms, right? He grins, tilting his head as he says, "You are not strong enough for that." As you pull your hands away, you have his ring of keys. He looks down and then looks up at you. Would you like to take any other actions?
I would like to move toward the door.
You may do that. He...
Will we get an attacking opportunity?
Yes, he will.
8? No.
Stay alive.
I knew it was coming.
I am absolutely terrified, though, and tears are, like, running down my face.
As you begin to make your way towards the door, you knock over that bottle. You get to the door as he turns and watches you, and he begins to just kind of casually walk up to you. He smiles as you begin fumbling with the keys at the door, and he will attempt another grapple check.
Keep forgetting all my notes. Do you just want to say it gets me?
It jingles and jangles.
Oh.
No,
Oh, I'm just kidding.
we're rolling.
I know. What is it?
16.
Yeah, it gets me. Mine's not very high. That's why I was like, I mean, there's...
So he reaches out and he seizes you by the... I'll say he just grabs you by the back of the neck. You are only a little shorter than him, not by like a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
But when he grabs you by the back of the neck, it feels like the weight of the world has locked onto you. And you feel that same chilling sensation run down your back. What would you like to do?
Still crying, as a child would. I would have to try another escape artist, some shape, form, or fashion. That's really the only thing I can do is try to like knock behind me or something. I don't know.
He can grab you, but you're a ferret.
Can I have my ferret unlock the door? No, he doesn't have.
You don't have a ferret.
I do.
No, you don't.
Oh, ferret.
Is his name Phineas?
No.
Copyright. Copyright.
It's copyrighted name. Escape artist with a 27.
Good gracious.
Or 16.
So he begins to squeeze. The weight of the world is on your neck, but you've perfected space travel. And it's like, and he's like, as you just pop out of his grasp. That's your standard action. What would you like to do with your move action?
Huh?
Move the key.
I moved the key
Into the key. Move action. It's a standard action to turn it, though.
Is the fire in the fireplace on?
I'll say yes, on low.
I was gonna run up the fire. Fire no good. Is there any sort of dumbwaiter or anything in this room?
No.
Oh,
I did not add that to the map.
Okay, it's a little hard to see from here. That's all.
I got you, Dom. Yeah, you
Let me see what else I've got. Sorry, guys. Sorry, viewers. I know this is flattering.
Oh. Hello.
Teenage Mutant. Oh.
I'm sure that's fine to say. I would
Use your
move
turtle power.
My kids got me this for Father's Day.
Oh, if he can't have a ferret, we can have a turtle.
I just
Get him!
Turtle.
It's a snapping turtle.
in desperation.
Ernest goes to camp style.
I would move toward his cutlery.
Ooh.
There, just I think by that table, unless it's
There
on
is
the floor.
Yes, that table's on the floor, and the knife, I would say, is on the other side. There is also a knife on this table. And there is a knife on that table.
Let me go toward the one on the floor.
Okay? You know what that does?
I do.
Dash, dash, dash. Okay, so you head for the one on the floor. And I will say you were able to get there.
Yeah, I can't pick it up yet.
Correct.
I don't understand that yet. And I wouldn't even know how to use it. Instead.
Just hold it still and just move.
As you kind of slide to the ground, he takes a step forward, blocking essentially that kind of quadrant of the room.
Yeah.
As he tilts his head, he cannot see you. The table is in the way. So you're hiding behind that table right now. He says, "Come on, little Perry. Let's see it. Come on. You can't hide from me." Your turn.
I will pick up the knife,
Sweet.
move to the other side of the table. It's still where he can't see me. And stealth.
You may. You are getting negatives, by the way.
Because I'm being somewhat observed.
Yes. And, well, he knows what side of the room
You
you're
dash
on.
to.
It's a 24.
Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Even with the negatives I'm giving you. What is your percent? Oh, that's not great.
There's a chance. There's not a chance. I'm like, oh.
Where would you like to stealth to?
The other table.
Okay.
Scary, scary scamper.
Do.
Yeah.
You take any of the actions.
I kind of just like look back and forth. I mean, like, kind of trembling a little bit, tears in my eyes. I know it's a sharp knife. That's what I got.
He grins, kind of examining that room, right? He says, "Come now, Perry. I'm your friend. I've been your friend for a long time. Come out so I can twist that head on your shoulders until it pops off." Suddenly, the room echoes out, and you hear this as you see this blue sigil appear on the wall, and the lock unlocks. The door flies open as you see Powrum turn towards the door, and you see 3 little motes of light shoot into the room, striking Powrum in the face, chest, and stomach, blowing portions of him off as they and he drops to the ground, motionless and lifeless. That black ichor seems to kind of roll out from him, and you see it like freeze the floor with that rime of ice, and then it quickly begins to dry and fade away, leaving kind of this soot-like residue behind as it does. Your father steps into the room. His hair is immaculately cut. He is immaculately well-groomed. He has a mustache and goatee with a bit of gray in it, and gray running down the sides from his temples. He is wearing blues and golds. His coat drops down to about his ankles in that kind of traditional wizard garb. It opens up into this nobleman-like attire that he wears beneath it, with rings on his fingers, boots on his feet. And you know everything he wears was incredibly expensive. And you just kind of always assume that he has like ostentatious, is that the word? Taste? What's the word, Amos? Is it ostentatious?
Ostentatious.
Ostentatious, thank you. This ostentatious taste in clothing. As he steps into the room, he's breathing heavy, and you see that same ichor is speckling his coat. He looks around. "Perry!"
I jump out, toss the knife to the side, and run to him like I've wanted to embrace him my entire life, hoping for something back.
He holds out his hand. He says, "Don't get near me.
Father, what's...
We don't have time." He says, "You need to listen to everything I have to say right now. This is the most important moment of your life, Perry." You see his eyes begin to turn black.
No.
He takes his satchel off, and he kind of like throws it across the floor to you, like covering that distance, and he doesn't want to get any closer to you. He says, "Listen, you need to go to Drimport. There in Drimport, you need to talk to the Lord Mayor Hawthorne. Lord Mayor Hawthorne is going to tell you what the other 4 keys are.
4 keys?
You need
What
to find
keys?
them, and he will tell you what to do. Whatever you do, Perry." You hear footsteps start to converge in the hallway behind him as he chants in tones. You see this blue sigil begin to appear in the air as he draws it, and that same blue sigil appears beneath you. Whatever you do, Perry, do not come back here for me. I'm sorry, it was Perrin? Perrin. He would call you Perrin. He says, whatever you do, Perrin, do not come back for me.
But father,
As he teleports you.
Dope. Okay.
Da da da.
Lord Mayor something.
Something,
More keys,
extra
question mark?
cheese.
That was key.
Not the cheese, the keys. That's our second 90s movie reference tonight.
Oh,
What was the first one?
Third? Because I did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and then Ernest Goes to Camp. Come for the tabletop RPG, stay for the 90s reference.
All the deep cuts.
Are
you okay?
What? No.
Yes.
I feel like we all know the answer to that.
It does not know.
I'm just glad to know Delaney's playing a child this time.
Why?
Because you're a child at heart.
Okay.
And it's so natural.
That was a very weird sentence to just hear you say.
Oh, yeah, that did probably come. My bad.
I'm glad Delaney's a child.
The easier for him to steal from us.
Much easier.
Sadly.
Much easier.
keep my eye on you.
Oh, or yeah.
He can do that too, 360-degree view.
Playing Al, just spin your head everywhere.
Berta.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
I don't want to follow that. Go to the caravan, it seems nice.
Okay, that was always allowed. Unless the audio starts going crazy and we need you. They're too dang bad. Everybody's leaving. Now with 2/3 of our
You were about
viewers.
to get up. You're the one that needs to be here.
I'm here for you.
And I'm here for you. And I'm here for you. So,
Go on.
Berta,
Yeah.
describe your character for the viewers, please.
Oh boy. So Dr. Isaac Tone would actually have his eyes look like they have been just scarred over the years and time, so he has no irises to them. They're sort of like that empty void, but he can still see perfectly fine out of them. He has gnarled black horns that reach up behind his head with a chain broken betwixt the two of them. Jet black hair that is very well kept, and a long ponytail behind his head. His face is marred, scarred. It looks like he has seen thousands of battles in his lifetime. Kind of a feel. He is wearing a surgeon's coat, like your stereotypical movie surgeon's coat, but it looks extremely old. Like it is well used. If you look down his arms, if you ever see his hands and arms, it looks like the same scarring on his face is on his arms. The other two significant features is he has these two protruding wings coming out of his back that look extremely damaged, as if at one point they did provide him with the ability of flight, but now they are almost completely useless for that effect. And he would have cloven hooves.
I was about to say, what about these guys?
Yeah, he has cloven hooves, so it causes him to have sort of that swaying gait. So he doesn't walk normally with shoulders face forward. He has to like sway back and forth. But yeah.
I got you. So, you find yourself at Blackberry Farms. You have been here for, was it a week?
A week or two, yeah.
A week or two. And your shame. You've been at Blackberry Farms for about a week or two. There, you have found a place of a natural position helping those that are injured. This all occurred because of Kavram. Kavram is a gruff and mean worker that works at the Blackberry Farms. He has worked there probably the longest, having had been there since he was 16, now being in his late 20s. Kavram, when you came into this area, had a broken arm. He claims that this broken arm was done in the middle of the night, fending off a giant that had been terrorizing the area. Whenever the owners of the Blackberry Farm, Apris and Mirtha, they claim to be sisters, though they look nothing alike.
Okay.
Apris and both of them human, by the way. Apris and Mirtha met you. They saw your coat. They asked you if you knew anything about medicine. I assumed you agreed. You did.
It would be weird. He would like, I know. He would never say, "I'm a doctor. I know a lot about medicine." He's like, "I know a lot about the body and how to fix it."
Mm-hmm.
He. It's like almost as if the word doctor does not exist in his vocabulary. Yes.
Despite that, it seems everybody at Blackberry Farms, after you have patched up Kavram, has taken a liking to calling you doctor.
Correct. Because he is everything that is. It's just he does not use that word.
Correct. And you corrected people, I assume, for probably the first couple days.
Maybe even a half a day.
And you're like,
I just gave up.
Whatever. In Blackberry Farms, there is a handful of other people that work there. All of them seem to have taken a liking to you, except, semi-ironically, Kavram. You patched up Kavram, but he never thanked you. And he still doesn't seem to trust or like you.
For me, that would almost be the norm. Mm-hmm. Like, I expect that everyone else being nice to me is weird.
Right.
That's my expectation.
However, there are 3 children that work there. An older brother and his 2 younger twins. The older brother is Flint, and his twins are Vayram and Forik. Vayram being the youngest of the 2 twins by, as she claims, an hour. And her next oldest brother, Forik. Vayram and Forik are only 12 years old, and they seemed very put off by you at first, having had never seen a tiefling in real life before, and kind of murmuring that you might be a devil. But as you begin to show kindness and you begin to help people and do things here at Blackberry Farm, they have taken a liking to you, right, finding more fascination in your looks than fear of them. The night you find yourself in, it is raining. It has come kind of a downpour as the day was drawing to a close, so you kind of got a couple of hours off of work early. And I would imagine you spent that time in your room poring over your books, just kind of taking the time to yourself. In the middle of the night, though, I would say probably around midnight. Would you be asleep by then or not?
No.
Not at midnight? There is a knock at your door, and it is a timid one. You see the sigil appear, and then Perry's dad goes in. It's like, Perrin's coming. I teleported him here, but I got here before he did. That's how fast I am. But there is a timid knock.
I would just say, come in.
The door opens, and you see 16-year-old Flint there. He has this kind of auburn color to his hair, and these deep blue eyes. Looking at them at first, you would think they were brown because they're so dark, but upon closer inspection, they are indeed blue. He steps into the room, and you see he has a rag covering his hand as he just kind of timidly says, I didn't wake you, did I, Doc?
No, what did you do?
Well, it's not so much what I did, it's what I was trying to do.
Symptoms.
He removes the bandage, and you see a cut on the palm of his hand.
I would just exacerbably, just grab a bag, open it up, and I would just start, just grab his hand, just pull it and start just wrapping it up and treating it.
As you begin to treat his hand, he sits there, and he begins kind of looking over everything in your room, right? He's talking to you, but he's not looking at you. Flint has always regarded you as kind of just a normal person. but it feels forced. Like, it feels like he is treating you too normal, you know, and that puts you off a little bit more than how everybody else has been treating you. Flint says, yeah, he is also soaking wet, by the way. He says, yeah, I remembered that I had left the bucket with blueberries outside, and because it started to rain, I meant to go back for them, and when I did, I was taking them back into the barn, and he said, and I found a rusty nail on the wall.
Sort of bucket on my side, I cast a spell, create water, fill it back up with like clean water, soak a rag into it.
I would assume it's no surprise that you can do things like that, but he still thinks it's fascinating. Like, every time he sees you do that, you see his eyes just lock on, and he's just like, whoa. So, Doc,
Yes.
I've never really asked before, but how can you do that? Are you a spellcaster, a wizard, maybe?
I have no idea. No, of course not.
Oh.
The wizards in my time were not the nicest of people.
And how old are you?
Well, at least 300.
Do tieflings normally live that long?
Up to 500, 800 on a good day. It depends.
Oh, so you're middle-aged? He says hesitantly.
Equivalent of 35 in human years.
Oh, he says. So,
Talk about the ones in the room. It's fine. You're not going to offend me.
he says, my parents have always taught me to treat people with the utmost respect, and ever since you've gotten here, you've been nothing but helpful. No matter what Vayram says. I'm sorry, not Vayram. Kavram. No matter what my brother says. He says, no matter what Kavram says. You see his eyes get kind of wide as he realizes what he said, kind of throwing Kavram under the bus.
You don't think I haven't noticed. Anyways, let's go find this nail so you don't cut the other hand.
As you say that, you hear heavy and panicked footsteps start to come down the hallway. As
my eyes would just immediately roll as I just grab the bag, pick it up. What now?
As the door opens up and Kavram is standing there, his arm still in the sling, right? As he steps in, Kavram stands well over 6 feet tall. He's broad, and he is not what you would call a pretty man. He has a very chiseled jawline, which may be his only flattering, his only flattering feature. His hair is matted and not cut well, as if he cut it himself and he doesn't know what he's doing. His hands are scarred, his body is weather-worn, and to say he's ugly is fair, but he is also very strong. Kavram opens the door and he says, Doc, we need you. It's back.
Without hesitation, I would just start following him.
He turns and begins heading out. You walk outside and the storm greets you as you do so. You just walk into this wall of water as he begins to make a beeline for the barn. Here at Blackberry Farms, there are a few animals. Most of them are for for the patrons that come, for the rooms that Blackberry Farm provides, and even the food that they provide. So you have a few pigs, a few cows, a few goats, things like that. And this barn is not really ever used for housing all of those animals. It's used for specific purposes, like if a cow is about to give birth, or if something is injured. And right now, there are a few calves that had been sick, 2 of them specifically, and they are being kept in the barn. Now, something that everyone has mentioned about this thing that's been plaguing Blackberry Farms is that it mourns, that it makes this keening noise that seems to echo out in this almost ghostly wail. By the way, this is raining. You can't really tell, but it is.
I see all the rain.
So go ahead and place your figure.
Yeah, that guy.
Somewhere along the exterior of the building.
I don't really know where you want it.
Sure.
Okay.
He would know better where I'd be.
As you begin to make your way towards the barn, you see Shalina. Shalina is a half-elf. She's not strong, but she is very smart. And her main focus is cultivating and taking care of the blackberry bushes that you have there. You have fields of these blackberry bushes, and most of the time it seems like you produce more blackberries than you know what to do with. But she finds them fascinating and has been able to domesticate them so they don't have thorns or as many seeds, and they grow bigger, making blackberry farms an oddity and very popular. She hasn't been there as long as Kavram has, but in the time, and she has been there the second longest, in the time she has been there, she has pulled her weight more than probably anybody else to make money for the place. Not in just hard labor, but in producing these blackberries.
A botanist, if you will.
A botanist, if you will. Next is Bariv. Bariv is a dwarf. Bariv has thick black hair that he keeps kind of combed back. He has a beard, but only from his chin, and it drops down to well below his waistline in a braid with kind of a metal ring to it to keep it from like really going anywhere. It just kind of weights it down. Bariv is kind of lean for a dwarf, and he's a jokester. Like, every time he sees you, he's making puns and jokes, mostly to your dismay. But he thinks you think he's the funniest thing alive. As you begin to approach the barn, you see both of them flanking either side of the door. The door is wide open. Outside doors open outside. And you see something that you weren't really expecting. A blue glow emitting from inside of this barn. And you hear this deep, guttural emitting from inside the barn. Kavram will run up, and he will also run to the side of the door next to Bariv.
I would just, my gate just naturally walk up to the door.
Okay.
Because I also see, because I have, it's a 26-year-old, like a 20-year-old, and, right, like I have a bunch of teenagers and young adults, so I just sort of approach the door and then come, and I just simply would say, "Who is in there?"
It's it, Kavram says.
I wasn't asking you. I was asking it.
Oh, you shout that into the barn?
Yes.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. That's my bad. Kavram knows what's up.
I feel like Kavram would all, like that was that.
That's
that
also
interaction happens.
Kavram. I got you. Oh, that was already open.
I like it better in the idea that he turns aside. I wasn't talking to you.
It's the thing. I know it's the thing.
Kavram, buddy.
Sweetheart. As you shout that to make yourself known, you hear it immediately stop. You hear the and it goes quiet. You're greeted by nothing but the rain and that same blue glow emitting. You look into barn?
Yes. At this point, I've always kept a set of chains on my right hip. I would pull out those chains and I'd crack them like a whip.
Oh, that's big.
Large even.
Mechanically. You snap that chain, and as you do so, the water on it busts off in a mist. And it echoes out. Bariv kind of leans over to Kavram, and he says, "Looks like he's getting cracking." Kavram goes, "That was barely a joke." As the rain's pouring over you.
By the way, I do have dark vision up to 120 feet.
Okay. Shalina says, "Be careful, Doc. We don't know what this is."
And wouldn't it be interesting to find out? I take a step forward.
Looking into the barn, you can clearly see it, having a direct line of sight to it. It's back to you. You see water rolling over it, and it looks just to be a hulking mass of a humanoid creature. And it's on its knees back to you, and long black hair that drops down over its shoulders. You see the pen to where the calves were being held is open, and you can hear the other calf in there mooing out in panic, but you only hear one calf mooing out. Now, in the time that you've been here, you've heard of this thing. They call it the Weeping Giant. But it has never hurt anything before. The only reason it hurt Kavram was to escape from him. Kavram claims that it attacked him and broke his arm, but Shalina, who was there, said it was merely running, and she said Kavram thought he could stop it, which he could not, and that's why it broke his arm. This, if it's in there doing what you think it is, you think it might have killed one of these calves. And that's the first time it's ever really hurt anything. Most of the other times it's come into Blackberry Farms, it's stolen bushels of blackberries or a barrel of water or something to that effect. But rarely really damaging anything, and oftentimes taking off without hurting anything. But this seems different.
Who are you?
It kind of like turns, and you see this piercing glow look at you.
Go away. My eyes are going to turn from that empty white to they're going to almost fill with a pale green color as I cast Death Watch, which is the thing that a previous character we could saw like green, yellow, red.
I got you.
I can just do that as a racial ability. Basically trying to see how healthy this thing is.
You can't really tell like how durable it is, only how if it's hurt or
But
not.
it's
Yeah.
a percentage based.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, so it doesn't know what its health pool is, but it knows what percentage of health it's at compared to what it should be.
I feel you, dog. It seems healthy. Whatever's there seems healthy.
So like nothing's hurt it or
Physically.
Leave me alone. It says.
what have you done with her calf?
It stands up. As it does so, you look down and that health bar is very empty as you see a calf laying on the ground. Roll me a heal check.
The vision also allows me to see. I will check the range on that spell. If it is completely dead. It's not where it should be.
I don't know why, but I feel like it's 30, but I could be wrong on that.
It has a range of 30 feet.
So smart.
The spell itself has a range of 30 feet.
Oh, so you wouldn't be able to see the
Even his
giant.
health bar?
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to see the giant.
Okay, then I would approach to where I was within 30 of the giant.
I would say as you enter into the barn and the storm is muffled out, hitting instead the shingled roof instead of just straight pouring onto you like it was, stepping into the barn, you're greeted with that same kind of musty smell of hay and straw and farm animals, things like that. But as you step in, it turns to face you as it holds out a large and massive hand. It looks huge. Do you have knowledge nature?
Nope. Not even a classical. Rolling for 10. No.
You do not know what this is, but it very much fits the description that everyone has given it as a giant.
Right.
It turns to face you. It has a very prominent eyebrow ridge. It has a broad and flat nose, and it seems to have a bit of an underbite. Its hands are filthy, and it is soaking wet. You see it has a cloth wrapped around its waist, and even though it is massive and thick in stature, it doesn't look very fat. It looks very lean, and most of the time you think of a giant, you think of them having like a gut or being kind of brutish looking. This one looks lean, but it does, however, stand 10 feet tall.
Oh boy.
And the roof of the barn being 30 feet tall, this thing can stand to its full stature as it holds out its hand. Something that you notice is it has a small stone that's emitting a light that circles around its head, illuminating that immediate area like a torch.
So the moment it holds out his hand, I'm like, oh, I'm doctor. They call me healer. I can help.
He looks down at the calf. Roll me that heal check.
Nat 20?
Oh my
26.
gosh! So you do notice that it was suffering from an abscess in its hoof. That's why it was put into the barn. You can see it was healing up nicely, and they had like clipped the hoof, giving it a nice little. But that's with your nat 20. The most pressing thing you notice about the calf, it is very, very dead. Its head has been rotated completely the wrong way.
I can't fix that.
There, fixed. It looks down at the calf and it looks at you. I'm sorry. I didn't want to kill it. I had to.
Why? Friend? Why?
Roll me a diplomacy.
Maybe
Diplomatize.
17.
Oh, wow.
That's purely on the dice.
I had to. They told me to.
Who is they?
They, the lizards.
The lizards? I'm sorry. Where are the lizards?
Lizards. Their home.
Which is?
My home.
Which is?
Home.
It seems like he doesn't understand what you're asking, what
Point
you're
to
driving.
home.
He points at the wall. But he does point in the general direction of west.
Okay. Do I know basic, like, what they have described to be that direction?
So you would know that that is Charles Ridge, is the direction that he's pointing at. Charles Ridge is named after an adventurous halfling that came here probably 20 years ago, spent a ton of gold, sang some songs, and then went off towards the ridge claiming that he knew of a secret treasure there and never came back.
Well, boy,
Nobody really heard from him since, so nobody's like he's dead or anything, but they've just since gone to calling it Charles Ridge. Do you have knowledge history?
no.
Then you don't know what it was called before it was Charles Ridge. Still not.
Planes, I got you.
Trains and automobiles.
Did the lizards make you do that? With magic.
Oh,
How did they make you do it?
what magic?
He looks confused. And because you've asked him a question that seems to confuse him and that seems to scare him, go ahead and re-roll me that diplomacy.
Yeah. Nat 20.
Oh my goodness. He doesn't know what magic is, but he's oddly comforted by it.
I like, with this arm, I'd show him the golden chain tattoo, and it sort of glows this, like, ethereal golden light. Magic. It can help.
It make darkness go away.
Kind of.
Yeah, it make darkness go away.
Yes, like your stone.
Yeah, floaty rock make darkness go away.
Did they use stuff like floaty rock?
No,
Did they say special words?
they took baby.
They have your baby?
They took baby away.
Oh no.
Kavram says, "What's going on in there?" When
You
he,
hush!
when he shouts, you see the giant take a step back like that frightened him.
He's me. Don't worry about him. Yeah. I don't know what's up with this dice. 18?
Gracious.
Why shouting?
He's angry. He's always angry. It's his thing. He also doesn't like it when people break his arm, but you know, we don't mean to do the things that.
Hey Doc, you hear Barrett say,
Yeah?
"I don't know what you're doing in there, but I think you better hurry. Kavram just went over to the tool shed."
The cow is already hurt. We can explain that. You probably need to go away.
I have to take her.
To the lizards?
Hmm?
Then do that. It is okay. We have plenty.
You're not gonna yell at me
Why would I yell at you?
for hurting cows.
It was already hurt.
He begins to cry, like actual tears begin streaming down his face when he says, "But cow is dead," as if he's mourning over the death of this calf.
Look to your left. The other left. Do you see the other calf there?
I'm not gonna hurt it. I'm not gonna hurt calf
The cycle left
anymore.
The cycle left will continue. The cows will have more cows. Take that one and feed the lizard people. I will get a search party for your child. We'll help you out.
Search party
We'll help
for
you.
baby.
We'll help you find baby. Okay?
He begins to cry even more.
Take cow.
You promise?
On my heart, and trust me, that means something for me.
Goatman friend?
That's a first. Sure, go men friend. You can call me Isaac.
He grabs the calf by the leg. He lifts it up and like effortlessly. This calf probably weighs well over 100 pounds.
I take a step back when he does that.
And he begins to walk towards you with heavy, muddy footsteps.
I would turn around once he's coming towards me. I was like, you guys may want to clear the doorway. You'll get to see the weeping giant. He's actually kind of nice. What is your name, my weeping giant friend?
He thinks for a moment.
I don't have a name. No one's ever gave me one.
I'm going to call you Bob.
Oh, what's it mean?
Friendly.
I'm Bob. You're Bob too.
Oh, thanks.
Some people aren't Bob.
They're really cavern back there? Totally not Bob. That's what
No.
cavern means, not Bob.
No, he's lizard people, caverns.
Oh, okay.
They're not Bob either.
I would go. We'll come help. It may be a bit. Okay. Okay, Bob. You can call me Isaac, by the way.
Isaac Bob.
Sure.
Bobsic.
Bob, please go now. You're killing my friend.
I'm just sitting here thinking, we got to get this guy in the party.
We will have a level 16 giant.
My favorite part is just the crossed eyes as you're doing that.
I can't see but one from my.
I didn't even know he was crossing it.
I just thought his eyes were doing this.
Trust me, they are. Please go. Take care. Stay safe. Avoid caverns as much as you can. I step out of his way.
You step out of the way.
Easer.
He begins to walk forward. As he does so, Barab says, "It's fine, Cavern." It's saying, "Uh-oh." When he says that, the giant steps through the doorway. Cavern has a scythe, wielding it only with one hand because the other one's in the sling. He's bracing the back of it against his lower half as he holds it in the crook of his arm, swinging the two-handed weapon best he can at the giant as it steps out.
Is there any way I can try to get in the way of that swing?
I'm going to say this is an attack round, or a surprise round, a surprise attack round.
No one saw this shit coming.
So, yeah.
Everyone saw it coming from Cavern.
We thought he was in the tool shed. Not the tool shed.
Well, I mean, he was in the tool shed. Oh, Cavern, that's not impressive. So, especially since he's taking a -4 to it. Kapow! Attacking the giant with an 8. It wasn't as bad as it could have been.
It's still been
Did his
hit.
touch AC?
He rolled
yeah.
a 12.
Oh, yeah. It just hit his touch. He swings as the giant steps through the door. You see the scythe hit in the nape of his neck, and it looks like it just kind of and sticks, as if the blade sunk itself into his hide without really going any deeper, as if you swung an axe into a tree and it just got stuck in the trunk of the tree. You see the giant look at the scythe and look down at Kavram, and you see Kavram with his broken arm and scythe in hand look up at the giant with legit fear in his eyes.
My tongue would very much so dark, and I was like, Kavram, I can heal people back from the dead.
Is Kavram? Kavram bad person? He grabs the scythe, easily pulling it out of Kavram's one hand. Says, Kavram hurt, boy! He throws the scythe, and you just say, the people in the next county now have a scythe.
Staring daggers at Kavram, just like,
As he begins to charge, and he begins running in a dead sprint, provoking an attack of opportunity from Barav, who uses the attack of opportunity and says, oh no, he's getting away. As Bomb begins to just dash through the mud.
Is he going west?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as fast as his big feet can carry him. Shalina, as he runs off, Shalina watches him go, looks at Kavram, and it goes, and then like kind of looks in the barn and looks at you and says, did it kill a calf?
He's being forced to by lizard people on Charles's Ridge.
Lizard people?
That's what he said.
Hold
I don't
on.
know if you've ever had a conversation with a giant before. Not the brightest of individuals. Kavram, I want you to go in there and clean up the mess he made.
Aces. Hang on. What's the word I'm looking for? When you've been somewhere the longest.
Seniority.
Seniority. He says, I think seniority takes precedence here. I'm trying to stop this from happening, and you're giving it names!
Uh-huh. I also stopped it from hurting anyone else in here, and now I know why it's hurting people. Would you like to put the Band-Aid on it? Would you like to stop the broken arm from being broken again?
You see Kavran's glare kind of like rest up from your face as if he's trying to process the analogy, right? Shalina says, to interpret that for you, sweetheart, he's right and you're wrong.
Thank you.
Those are kobolds, she says. Kobolds used to attack this farm years ago, before you got here.
So probably they're coercing him into doing it because they have his child. He's a frightened parent.
He has a child?
Apparently. All the
I see what you did there.
Guys,
all the kobolds are now called Caverns by him because of some idiot who's mean and rude.
Barav goes, he's talking about, I know he's talking about me. As he kind of...
So, we need to all get inside. Someone should clean up the mess they've made.
Barav goes, not it. Shalina goes, not it, as they
Not
begin
it.
to walk off. Kavram says, what? No, I'm the only one doing anything about this, he says, shouting at the group as they begin to leave.
As they leave, my eyes turn that green again, and I was like, for someone who's relying on me for medical care, I would not do anything stupid and or rash again. And I just turn and walk away.
I'm supposed to take care of this with one hand? As the other calf walks past him, as he begins to chase it, it's like, and runs
And I
off
just
into the
over
field.
my shoulder say, you should probably take care of that too, and I just keep going.
Very good.
I love Bob. I want Bob in the group.
It means friendly. No, it doesn't, but that's fine.
So hard to be quiet.
Isaac Bob.
Bobzik.
You're Bob.
We are. We need
Are
to.
Bob.
Was it Kavram? That needs to be our like secret lingo for this guy's got coercing me.
This guy's a cave room, if you know what I'm saying.
It's the new character.
Bob.
That Kraken boss battle, that's not what I meant to click on.
What?
What?
So we are pirates?
Yay! Kraken
Yeah.
boss battle, level 1. Your former anything.
So our next character.
It's just AJ just walks out of the mist.
That would be worse, I think.
Get to Kraken.
I see what you did there.
That's funny.
So the thing about this that I've got the sound effects that are pulled up right now is like wind and trees, rustling bushes, a gentle like stream, and then it says birds, more birds, happy birdies, and I'm like, why are there so many birds?
Oh, the birds.
Call.
Come on the
Even more birds.
I mean, they are the word.
So I've heard.
Whatever.
Don't you know?
Sorry.
Of a certain avian variety.
A certain ornithological piece.
Now, the rest of you find yourself.
Oh, the rest of us.
The rest of you. It's like Gilligan, the Professor too, and the rest. Find yourself in a wagon train, or a caravan,
If you will.
a caravan, if you will.
Or won't.
So before I get into describing, by the way, that wasn't all of the people that worked at Blackberry Farms, but
I assumed.
that was the vast majority of them.
I'm just glad I didn't have to roll initiative. I did not want to fight a giant.
With those high rolls, really you diplomacized the crap out of that guy.
I did
There were
zero.
gonna be a bunch
You
of
had
dead
no
bodies.
bonuses to that whole thing. Oh,
It was just meant to be.
meant to be.
He's on my team from now on.
He said that the first roll, and I was like, the second, the third, I was like, oh, this is just going to straight happen.
You're Bob's friend now, or Bob's
bet.
your friend.
Bob's your uncle.
Things get real weird, man.
You are now Isaac
took
Bob.
money?
How you feel about turning that AC down?
Like making it colder?
Are you
I'm a
comfortable?
little toasted.
Even colder.
Y'all are toasty? Okay. I'll bring a jacket next time.
Colder.
Sorry, boss.
Even colder.
I thought
It
said
wasn't even
0.
on.
How's that?
I thought it was
I had
off.
it like tilted up.
Oh, okay. I thought it said off.
No.
Okay.
That's good. I can feel it now.
Can you feel it?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Somehow it feels better for me too. All right.
Getting
Hey!
the AC together.
Getting our
Not this.
act.
That AC. Different AC.
We're getting our act together.
Anyway,
This is what it is now.
this is our life.
It's now or never.
Yes. So I would like the rest of you, starting with Amos,
A moose.
to describe your character for our viewers.
All right, my character's name is Damon, and he's about. Let's see, I actually have this all written down. He's about 6 foot, young man, about 24 years old, fairly stocky, with brown hair, green eyes. His hair is kind of longish, as if he hasn't had a very professional cut in a while. He has stubble, days growth of beard. He's dressed in splotched chainmail, or a splotched breastplate. Yeah, breastplate. And he has a very large bastard sword that he carries around with him. His clothes look travel-stained and worn, but he does not look unhealthy. He just looks as if he has less than a care about his appearance. He just throws on what it feels comfortable in the morning. And that's Damon.
I am Marcus Wren. I stand about 5'10". I look somewhere between 20 to 22, and slender figure. I would say stubble on the chin would be an apt description, and he has long dark hair, and he wears traveling robe, kind of wizardly attire. However, his it's very dirty. He personally is not dirty. However, the robes are not very well kept.
I got you.
thought that we were going to keep the same dirty look as the last one.
Nah.
I am playing Ragnar. I am human. I stand at 6'3", weighing every bit of 207. all muscles at the age of 21. Brown hair, brown eyes, black hair, and it's actually braided kind of from 4 to 2 to 1 towards the back. He is very tan in color. He has cloth wrapped around his right arm. He is wearing studded leather armor. He has a buckler that's kind of just off on his left arm with a warhammer down on his right hip. Kind of been off on his own, not really talking to anyone.
My character is Manzarek. For those playing along, he looks like he's a gripply, and he looks like a southern leopard frog. So if you go and look up what that looks like, he's a human version of that. He has huge black eyes that have like a gold rim around them. The top of his head is green with spots all over, and then from his nose to his eyes and then down his back, what you can see, he has like a bright gold line, and then underneath that is just like brown and kind of pretty average for frog look. He is carrying a walking stick everywhere he goes, and on his side he has a scimitar. He is wearing a robe that has kind of like sewn into it, but it's like looks like he sewed into it, and so it looks like trash. A leaf that looks like it has a face on it, and then it has water dripping off of that leaf. And if you ask him about it, he becomes very proud of his little piece of artwork, but it looks like garbage. Next to him, he has his animal companion, Rayado, who is he's a velociraptor for all intents and purposes. He looks like a red-tailed hawk, and so on his belly, he is white, and then his feathers on his back and side are a dark brown, reddish color, and then it gets brighter until on his tail it's just like a brilliant, bright red. And they are always together. Rayado is like 3 feet tall, 40 pounds. Manzarek is 2 feet tall, so like the size of a toddler, 30 pounds wet. So he's
What a happy
so small.
So, this caravan you all seem to find yourself in is heading for Drimport. Now, a couple of interesting things are happening. Excuse me, I'm getting a map.
Map.
So, as everyone can see, including those at home, see that? Great detail. Anyway.
The digital version will be released next week.
Yeah.
And will continue to be released.
So
Week.
you are all leaving what's called the Forgotten Keep. The Forgotten Keep is kind of the midway point. Anybody that is coming in from the ocean or is traveling from Amar will pass through the Forgotten Keep. The Forgotten Keep was incredibly interesting, being a fort from several years ago, and by several I mean like
Hundreds.
a century ago, yeah, that lay abandoned for a long while, but now has become kind of a midway point or a checkpoint for traveling caravans. The Forgotten Keep is you would leave the Forgotten Keep and you would begin to head east and then south down to Drimport. However, leaving from the kingdom of Amar, you would be traveling through the kingdom of Ambros, and then down into the kingdom of Haldren, where Drimport is located. You got that? So, something is odd, though. You have been in this caravan, some of you longer than others. I would say the one that has been in this the longest is Manzarek. Manzarek having traveled for probably a couple weeks at this point in this caravan. You've been kind of just slowly joined by other people, and other people have left. But as you are crossing into Ambros territory, you are met by 2 guards. And this has happened maybe about 3 or 4 days ago that you have been crossing through one kingdom and into Haldren territory. You've been greeted with these 2 guards from Haldren. They have crossed into Ambros territory to escort this caravan down south into Drimport. These guards wear the Ambros colors of blue and gold, mostly blue filled with a gold lining to them. And these guards don't look very interested in what they're doing. It's like they've been asked to do this without any real instruction, and it's as if the guard didn't have any, or the chief that gave them their instructions didn't have any real instructions. And so they show up, they're like, we're escorting you. And you all start to ask questions, and they give you a, I don't care. You do whatever you want. Like, I'm just traveling with you because that's what we've been told to do. So with the exception of the cavern driver, the caravan leader, and the 2 guards, there are no other mounts. The caravan driver, his name is Tamor. Tamor is a halfling who has a large mastiff dog that he rides on. Tamor also, surprisingly, has a deep, booming voice. For a halfling, it is very surprising. Tamor is bald on top, a clean-shaved head, but the tops of his feet suggest that he had kind of a hazelnut hair color at one time. He's very stern looking and very kind of like straightforward, but he seems like a very nice guy. The other people that are in the caravan, that work for the caravan, is Valrus, a half-orc barbarian. She's a guard, and she doesn't talk to people very often. But if any of you had spent any time trying to communicate with her and like try to get information out of her, you would discover that she is shy. She's a half-orc barbarian who is shy. She has a mohawk. The sides of her head are completely shaved. This mohawk is pulled back into braids that come down into a ponytail, longer in the back than on the top. She wears just hide armor and carries a battle axe with her. And she also seems to absolutely adore your raptor. There is Omar, who is the driver of the caravan. He is the one riding on the wagon where all the supplies have been put on. Omar is a dwarf with a thick brown beard, hair that kind of drops down over his eyes, and so he's constantly doing this number, and he loves to sing. The entire caravan trip is him singing. And if you politely ask him not to sing, he laughs and continues to sing.
Sober or drunk?
No, just drunk.
Just drunk.
So the entire trip.
Okay.
Yeah. You're like, oh, is that barrel of mead being transported for any particular reason? No. That's mine.
That's mine. It rides here, shotgun.
Then there is Para and Sai, a mother and son couple that are traveling. There is Ela, Vormisa, and Kaith, followers of Freya, all female, that are traveling to a Freyan temple that's in Drimport. And Mina, a... Good? And then Mina, a cloaked figure who has... you've heard her say her name, but she gives no other real indication of like who she is or what she's doing. If you try to have conversation with her, she just says she doesn't want to talk. She's feeling tired. She cuts conversations very short. But looking at her, you think she might be a drow, but a very short one, even for a drow. But that is the caravan in total, with you gentlemen and one other person. Do 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 do
Do.
do do
Sorry.
do 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 do. Where the heck is this
Couldn't
person?
help yourself, could you?
I can't.
Talk about Kayla.
Yes.
I hear a jingle jangle and I got it.
Jingle jangle.
Yeah.
And then there is Kava. Kava is a cleric, or I'm sorry, Kava is an oracle and a follower of Desna. Kava has a cloak of purples and blues, and no real other weapons or magical armor that you can tell. She seems to just be a traveler. She is a gnome and only barely taller than you are. She has pointed ears, and she does have a traveler's hat with a wide brim that shades her from the sun. She has almond-colored skin, pitch black hair, and deep brown eyes. She also has a gray wolf named Luna. Luna is a puppy and absolutely loves to play with Ray, the raptor. Ray. And they are good buddies.
Rayato.
Rayato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ray. He's Ray.
He's Ray. Ray.
Yeah.
The raptor.
Yeah.
So, in this trip, it seems that the friendliest member of the caravan has been Kava. Kava is willing to talk. Kava is willing to have conversations. She seems very sweet. And she has paid Damon to escort her into Drimport as a bodyguard, promising you how much gold?
10 gold pieces.
10 gold pieces, which seems like a lot for somebody that has very little gear. She has paid you 5 gold pieces beforehand to escort her safely there, and 5 more when she arrives. She has also seemed to taken a liking to you, Manzarek, because of your love for nature that she also shares. Where yours is more of the earth and the land, hers is more of the stars and the sky. And so she loves to talk to you about it, and the fact that your raptor and her wolf get along very, very well. It kind of is what sparked this friendship. She's been traveling with you for almost as long as you've been there, for a little over a week. And she carries with her a potted plant. This potted plant sits in a pot just about this big. And a single stalk grows from the potted plant and a large star-shaped leaf. Now, if anybody would like to, they can roll me a perception check on the plant. Anybody that's in the caravan would like to, they can roll me a perception check. Anybody that's in the caravan, you two have had your turn.
I think it's a plus.
Perception or knowledge?
Perception.
Oh, okay. I can do perception.
Believe
You
it's
can
knowledge.
percept all day.
Nat 20.
Same.
What?
Yeah.
not
16.
We should have filmed years ago.
a total of 9.
Nice. You haven't seen it.
Yep.
But you, and especially you two, I would imagine just in the middle of the night, y'all were like, yeah, there it is. And just like, that was it. It was like, she's asleep. And like, have noticed, and because of the Nat 20, I'll give you some information about what it is. On the bottom of the leaf, there is a single round orb, about the size of the head of a pin, on the bottom of the leaf. With your Nat 20s, you would recognize that as an insect egg of some kind. If anybody would like to roll me Knowledge Nature, I can tell you specifically what
Does it
kind
have to only be those two?
You know it's there too, yeah, you've seen it.
10.
Nat
Or
20.
19. You're going to tell us what
My
it is.
group is cheating. They're cheating.
He saw it.
He rolled a 4, got an 87. He made a giant friend named Bob, and they've all got Nat 20s.
No.
I'm a failure.
Oh, I'm a failure.
Oh, you're a Corbin?
Get a mushroom.
No. Do not tell Bob I'm a Corvin or Corbin.
Corbin. Don't tell him I'm a crow.
Samson Swanson.
Name's on the briefcase.
Oh.
Samsonite, that was way off. With your Nat 20. What?
Samsonite.
Another 90s reference?
Yeah, I mean like the brand of the
Right.
Luggage,
I
yeah.
just got it.
That's always been the joke.
I know, but just imagine like a tag, have a name on it.
I had never put. I had never put that together.
Yeah,
That was a
that's
brand
the
name.
joke!
I thought it was her last name. I never really paid attention.
No! Because that would make sense! You saw it here first, folks. With a Nat 20. You would know this insect egg as a moth egg. A single moth egg on the bottom of the leaf.
Okay, I'm gonna do everything I can to not eat it. We're gonna move on with our lives.
Caviar. Ripley caviar.
I look at that and I'm like,
She would be so offended.
the previous life has eaten a lot of you.
So you find yourself on this caravan traveling through and into the Haldren? I named it. I know what it is. Yeah, Haldren. I knew it. Into Haldren territory. The guards accompanying you and the caravan going about its day. As the woods are filled with the song of Omar the dwarf drunkenly singing out, and the sound of birds chirping, wind rustling, and the wagon creaking. What would you all like to do during this time? If anything. Mamam the Bonts?
Nope, not that.
Phenomena. I'm so proud of you all.
I'm so ashamed of you all.
That was the jingle jangle.
By the way, the wagon is being pulled not by a horse, but by an ox. Despite any sounds you hear over the ambiance.
I might approach my Gripply friend here. Pardon me.
Yes.
Where is this caravan actually going? I've only just recently joined. I'm not familiar with the local area.
How long have you actually been? I'm not talking.
Realistically, I think I wandered in here probably like from the tree line probably like a week ago or something like that.
A homeless man just joined your group.
So you've been on this for like a week,
Maybe, yeah.
and you don't know.
I've been
You've been on this for a
quietly
week
keeping
and
to
you don't
myself.
know where we're going.
I haven't the faintest now.
That is a very dangerous behavior, my friend.
We're
been
going
a-
to Drimport, Kava says.
Thank you. Drimport.
Is that a problem? She says, confused.
I don't think I've ever been there before.
She says, neither have I. It's going to be a new experience for both of us. Roll me a sense motive check.
She lives in Dreamport.
I got a total of 7.
Okay.
Not very socially adept.
I'm laid down in the back of one of the carts.
The only
Hood,
card.
the only cart. With my hood kind of pulled down, kind of dozing. But when that question comes up, I kind of look over and says, "Don't get terribly excited. It's a bit of a disappointment." Pull my hood back down.
Is there a place to get a bath? Maybe wash my rags.
Omar just kind of chimes in. He goes, yeah, 'cause you need it. He's not one to talk.
Thank you very much.
I'm still like, you've been walking with us for a week and you don't know where we're going.
I've literally not
Like-
really approached anybody in that week.
I start talking to Rayado, and he clearly is just whatever. And I'm like, he doesn't know where we're going, and he's been walking with us for a week. And Rayado is just yeah, and I go back to trying to get.
Would you say there were a total of 8 or 9 people in this caravan?
Something like that.
Yeah, I would assume that somebody probably did approach, at which I would have given them a name, but then I would have spoken very little to none after that.
Oh my. I go back to trying to teach Rayado how to come when called, and he just doesn't do it. It's just this huge problem of me.
Roll me a handle animal.
Watch, he rolls an at 20. He's like, except for this one time.
Animal.
Handable?
22.
Except for this one time.
It's going to happen.
Just wait till we start going that.
It's
The
going to be a
universe is
train
gonna
wreck
come back
here in
in
a little
on
bit.
us. It's okay.
So he's wrestling with Luna, right? kind of jumping back, and you see his feathers it plume out as he begins making this chortle noise with his head low to the ground, kind of in a mock attack, right? Luna's mimicking the same motions with her paws flat on the ground, her jaw on the ground, and her tail up in the air wagging happily. As you call, Rayado spins and runs directly to you, his claws out to either side and doing that kind of wide gait as he gets to you. He slides to a stop and he just immediately chomps onto your leg, just and a play bite onto your leg.
This is fine. It's fine. At least he came this time.
Luna tackles him and the two...
Is he still
Oh yeah, no, he took you with him.
Okay, yeah.
He took part of you with him. No, he didn't injure you, but it was a play bite. Have you ever had a puppy bite you with those new sharp teeth? It's very much like that. As they hit and begin to roll on the ground. Kava says, I'm very happy Luna found a friend.
Rayado needs some socialization. He is very clearly way more social than I am, than Manzarek is, like Rayado is. And so, Manzarek's saying that it's just like, okay, like everybody that's even spent any amount of time with him is like, okay, he's the one that needs socialization. So like,
I got you.
I'm keeping it to myself.
Okay, that's fair. The caravan begins heading towards what looks like a line of trees. It's not dense. It looks like maybe they had been harvested at some point, and a lot of them, a handful of them, had been left intentionally, and it seems like the forest is growing back. So you do see a handful of older trees that tower up, but most of the trees look to be maybe like a decade old or a decade and a half old. As you begin heading into this, you do see also off to the west, or I'm sorry, the east, off to the west, an outcropping of rock. These rocks feed into a rolling hill, and you see that they are accompanied with ridges and overhangs and things like that. As you begin to head towards that, you all hear, as the sky begins to darken, and you see clouds begin to roll in from the north, Tamor looks up from his mastiff, right? He says, "Whoa, Kane, whoa!" As he looks up at it all, he says, "We need to find shelter. It's going to rain soon." Gosh, I'm handsome. I didn't mean to sound like a superhero, but I am.
I really am.
Omar continues to sing, and Varus continues to be quiet. What are the rest of you?
I sit up, kind of shake off the sleep, and hop out of the wagon and say, "All right, I'll see what I can find." 'Cause I'm only dozing. I'm paying attention. What's the area around us like as far as...
It seems like there are large trees, like a small outcropping of trees, but it looks like it was harvested at some point.
No, like the hills are...
A rolling hill that
areas.
gives into an outcropping of rock.
Okay. So I'm going to...
That's one for the paying attention counter.
That's not the question I was asking.
Is that? I don't know if that's truly.
Anywho.
close but not cigar.
I'll allow it.
So
Are we not?
we're gonna vote on these.
No,
Oh,
I'm the GM.
All right, so I'm going to investigate the outer area to see if I can find us
You may do that.
a place of shelter. Yep. Oh boy.
Is your perception on point?
Not 20.
No, please. Ah! There's a 2 involved.
A 3?
Yeah. 3 for the search.
Have
Let's try survival.
Have here beside you.
I'll
There's a
allow
storm
it.
brewing.
Sure, why not?
Why not?
Let's get a roll on
It's gonna be
that.
worse than a straight roll. That's a 3.
It wasn't worse.
So you walk in the middle of the caravan on the road and you go, looking at things that have already been looked at and not ahead of anyone.
Still searching. That's what
I'll take a look
Let's
around
see
for
the
nearby
trailer.
shelter with a
Caravan.
survival check
Flips
myself.
upside down and becomes a great tent.
I only get a 6. I'm no better than him.
Also take a look with a 17.
There it is.
Leave it to the nature guy.
Monkeys and typewriters.
As you begin, you hop ahead of everybody, figuratively. You
And literally.
scan the area, and you do see just kind of off in the distance, the hill rolls up and then kind of plateaus before it meets another large outcropping of stone. And you see one of these rocks jets up at a 45 and creates what looks to be a very dry overhang. The area beneath it is constantly shaded, giving it no vegetation.
Is it like
for
Pride
very
Rock?
little. Not quite so cinematic.
Sorry.
But yeah. But just very few stones, loose soil, and it looks like it has never rained or had any real vegetation growing under it. So.
Okay. I start walking back to the party, and I tell Kava first about the location, and then I begin sharing that information with everybody else. I keep looking over at Rayato, and every time like there's ever like a lightning strike or anything like that, I'm like, it's a gift. It's a gift from the gods.
You see Luna's cowering under the wagon, like as it's going, and she's just kind of keeping away from the storm. And Rayato, as you're like, it's a gift from the gods, he's trying to get to Luna under the wagon to play with her.
Did you say it was Luna that was underneath the? Okay.
Dogs are always afraid of the thunder.
I look over at Luna and I look at Kava and I'm like, it's a gift from the gods. This weather, this rain is a gift.
She smiles, she says, I agree. She says,
Luna does not.
She says, I think Desna's happy that we're doing this. She says, besides, as she walks up next to you, right, she says Desna loves nature and she gets along with it, and so she is using it to show her appreciation.
And Zary just kind of like blinks and he's like, yes, it is a gift. It is a gift from the gods.
Not necessarily
I
Desmond.
had one line to say and I said it.
It's more than yours.
You begin heading towards this outcrop, and you kind of gather underneath it as the rain begins to come down. Tamor just kind of like rides his dog around and is making sure everybody's okay and everybody's together. He's keeping count, and he does this. Is there anything I can get you? Are you fine? Are you comfortable? Do you feel well protected? My job is done. And he just rides off.
He just answers all the questions
Yeah.
as he asks them.
It's like, I could have...
Okay, that's cool.
As I'm walking by, back by the wagon, I kind of look under at Luna. Let me know if I need to roll for this, but I kind of open my cloak and says, come on, I'll hold you.
Handle animal. Okay.
A Lundle. Trained skill.
So I need to rank in it. What if it's a
Well,
class
you can
skill?
roll it up to 10.
What if it's a class skill?
Oh, it's your class, you have it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You have a rank in it?
No.
Oh, okay, then never mind.
Okay. Then it's just straight roll.
You can roll up to 10.
Damn.
There's a 20 on every die.
It's an
Just
8.
not his.
I rolled an 18.
Oh! But it's a 10. She like starts to come out from under the wagon, and then thunder strikes again. I got you, dog. And she backs back under the wagon and begins to cower.
Well, alright, just stay there, I guess.
You tried. You tried.
I walk back and hop into the wagon.
To clarify, we have stopped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody's kind of bedding down to camp for the night until the storm passes.
But we're under that rock, though.
Yes.
Okay.
So everybody is
going
going.
to the rock. I stay in the rain.
Because he's amphibian.
Rayato can go under the rock, but I am staying in the rain.
Amphibious. That means he can use both hands.
Yep.
Exactly what that means.
Amphibious.
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 That's that Disney show, right? So, the sky darkens and the rain begins to wash in sheets, and you are just so drenched.
I'm loving it.
Rayado is just kind of standing under the overhang, but he's watching you. He's doing that thing like a puppy would do, where it doesn't want to go very far, but it's also like, no, I'm not going out there, you know.
It's raining out there.
Yeah, that's nonsense. As you're standing there with the rain coming down, Kava walks out to you, and she just stands in the rain with you, and it just begins to soak her hair and her cloak as she just kind of watches it rain.
Gozer is good.
She says, Gozer is good.
Yes, that is good. Kind of just like, I'll be respectful.
This is the closest I can get to respecting your religion.
Yes, Desmond already do.
She says, Manser, can I ask you some personal questions? Manzarek, excuse me.
He kind of just like looks at her and he's like, like, I don't know if I'm going to answer these questions that are coming my way, but we'll see.
Do you think you'll find what you're looking for in Trimport?
I kind of like look down at my feet and I was like, I really, really hope so.
Could you do me a favor, Manzarek? If something happens, could you take care of the plant? I know that's such a weird request. It's just that you're so in tune with nature, and I wouldn't trust anyone else to take care of it.
What is the meaning behind this plant to you?
She says, the butterfly is Desna's holy symbol. I took one of those eggs from my order. It's special. It's not just any butterfly. And there would be a lot of people that would be interested to have it. And it would sell for a lot of money once it hatches. I just feel like you would respect it more than that.
The guy who would eat it.
Kind of like, I will watch him.
She smiles.
The plant.
Roll me a sense motive.
What's that motive?
That's an 11.
11s.
It seems like there's more she wants to say, but she doesn't.
What language is she speaking right now?
Common.
Okay, cool. Sure.
She says, I also wanted to thank you. For just being my friend.
You are good. Luna is good.
She smiles. I know you'll find what you're looking for. Roll me another sense motive.
That one's a 17.
With a 17, she says that with a surety. Not like, I know you can do it, kind of upbeat. It's like she knows that you'll find what you're looking for.
But does she?
Does that, since she's like so sure, and I am so not, that makes me kind of nervous. And like, 'cause,
Did you ever tell her what you were looking for?
I probably would have told her. I would not have told anybody else though at this point. So, I'm just kind of like nod, and I wear my emotions on my face, and so it's like obviously like that's weird, but I'm gonna accept it.
Goodbye, Manzar. I
Goodbye.
mean, good night.
Stay dry.
She looks up at the sky.
Go get dry.
It's not every day you get to enjoy such a calm storm. As she walks off.
I go back to just being like,
What are you doing, Amos? What are you doing?
No, I'm sleeping back on the back of the wagon.
So you just fell asleep whenever you was on the wagon?
Yeah.
There's no need for him to do anything.
So I guess I'll walk up to Max after she leaves. Man's there.
how tall are you again?
6'3".
So I'm like at your kneecap.
Yeah.
Like,
So I
Found a
actually,
frog! Put me down!
please don't touch me.
I do come out there and I do take a knee, and I just look at you and I'm like, I've been wrapping my head around how long I have been here on this caravan. Do you recall when I joined it?
Like 3 days ago, man. And Zeric's weird little froggy arm touches you and is like, are you okay?
Don't recall anything for the last week.
You need help. I cannot provide. Pray to Gozer. He is good. Weather is good.
I love
Thanks.
this frog.
And I'll walk back to where it's not wet.
Gozer will help him. Oh man, I hope Gozer helps him.
I'll sit up against the rock and I guess nap.
As soon as he said, keep dry, I was like, is that an insult?
I mean, I wasn't thinking of it as an insult, but it could be. So anytime, like, I'm talking to myself or I'm talking to Riado, I am speaking in Gripply. And so it's just weird frog noises.
Damon, as you're kind of dozing off in the back of the wagon, everybody's getting ready to kind of just bed down. You know, they're either talking, conversating, and so there's this low murmur that is overshadowed by the sound of the rain. So it's good gray.
Very lulling, yeah.
Yeah, very very good white noise. You feel a gentle and small hand kind of nudge your shoulder.
Like, kind of jerk, pull my hood back again, and look up.
You see Kava standing at the foot of the wagon.
Oh,
Sorry, I didn't mean to
yes.
wake you.
No, it's it's okay. What's up?
I wanted to thank you for escorting me this far.
You're paying.
Right, she says. I just wanted to let you know that I might have not been very honest with you.
Okay.
I don't have 10 gold. The 5 gold was all I had.
Appropriate thunder.
I see.
She says, however, I do have this. She pulls out a silver pendant of Desna. That silver pendant, you know would be worth a handful of gold. Whether it was 5 or more, you're not sure without an appraisal check. But it's, 1, it's silver, and 2, because of its intricate design. She says, but I can give you this.
That's your holy symbol, isn't it?
She says, yeah, but I'm not a cleric, so I don't really need it.
Look, 10 gold is probably more than I ever imagined. 1 gold is definitely not enough. Just keep your silver. 5 gold will be plenty. Yeah. It's okay. Just don't even worry about
She
it.
reaches up and gently takes you by the wrist. She's not forcing, but she gently takes you. She says, then consider it a gift, as she pushes it into your hand. Damon, I know you're a good person, and I know you'll make the right choice.
I can't make eye contact with her at this point because it's just, I can't do it. sure. Thanks.
She walks away.
I kind of look at it and turn it around. Is it like anything I've ever seen before?
You've seen the holy symbol of Desna. It's just that butterfly. This one has small blue gemstones in them. They may be colored glass. Without an appraisal check, you're not entirely certain.
Yeah, I'm gonna do an appraisal check.
Do you have appraisal?
It's not
It isn't a
great.
trained. Anyone can do that.
Is it a 3?
6 total.
Again.
I know.
Yeah. You're not even certain it's real silver.
You're killing me.
You're not even certain it's real silver.
You may want to get new dice, my guy.
Gracious.
He rolled a 1 with it.
Oh.
Get that bad juju off of it.
Eli dice would never
That
betray
wasn't
me.
me.
know, right?
I promise you.
It's not my juju.
Bob is
I
the
just-
friendly giant.
I just kind of sigh and I tuck it into my small bag, my small satchel, and kind of groan, thinking about what I won't be able to get, replenish my supplies, and go back to sleep.
The night kind of begins to drag on, and you all bed down for the evening and doze off. Marcus, you wake in the middle of the night to the sound of more thunder.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, weird, huh?
Oh, you hit the button. I thought it was just random.
Just wait till she reveals something. It gets epic.
The thunder, you think at first the thunder is what woke you, but you quickly realize that it is not. You realize as you look around that the caravan is completely asleep. It is night and it's still raining. But there is one other creature in the caravan that is awake. You see the thing sitting and looking out at the group. Why don't you describe for our viewers what this thing is?
It stands somewhere from, right now I assume it would be almost like hunched over or something, but I don't know. But if it were to stand upright, it's about 6'5", 7 feet tall. It's got 2 long arms, much longer than they should be. They're not proportional to the torso, with ending in claws. It has no hair on its body whatsoever. No discernible features on the face other than 2 slits for nostrils, and it's pale, gaunt, like white skin, and it's slender.
Did you just describe Slender Man?
No, well, Slender Man wears a tux. Does Slender Man have slits on his face? Is that
Naked-
where I got that
naked
from?
Slender Man. I don't know. You might.
I
No,
don't-
his face is just completely blank, isn't it?
That's still very scary, what you just described.
This thing is crouching, and it's regarding the group with a sense of curiosity, and it's an expressionless face. But over the time that you've spent with it, you can almost feel what it's feeling, almost sense what it's thinking, and something has it interested.
What's it looking at?
It reaches forward with its long, gangly arms, its hands spread wide, nearly touching the sleeping, the sleeping travelers, but missing them like a cat moving through an obstacle course. As it just shifts, its shoulders are exaggerated as they roll. The rope-like muscle structure and its protruding bones are very visible through its taut flesh as it begins to crawl through the crowd and it finds its way over to Ragnar. It stands over Ragnar and crouches like some kind of predatory animal as it watches him sleep.
I tried to mentally force it to like stop and back up.
It does not. And by the way, it's made a distance from you to Ragnar of about 30 feet. It begins to lean
I attempt to
down.
banish it.
Nothing happens. Do you stand
I-
or you
Yes, at this point I would be standing, attempting to banish it.
do you stay your 30 feet of distance?
At least on the banish attempt, yeah. I don't have to be within 30 feet if it, yeah. You say that doesn't work though?
You desperately tried to banish this thing, and it seems to pay you no mind. It's as if you've lost all control of this creature as it begins to lean in inches away from Ragnar's face.
I shout for him to wake up, for the creature to back up. I'm screaming at it as I run towards it now.
Ragnar, you have awoken to the sound of screaming. As you see Marcus charging towards you with his hands out, and he slides to a stop as you realize that there's nothing there. You see the caravan kind of like stirs and they begin to look around. Is everything all right? Tamor says.
Yeah, I thought I saw something. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle anyone. That was.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, you sound like a female when you scream.
I have my sword out, and I'm like, what was it?
Just maybe
Please
night terrors. I don't know.
enlighten us.
It's just I
looking
saw
out-
something.
I'm looking out into the darkness.
I must.
Obviously, I don't see anything except darkness.
I must be mistaken. Sorry. As I attempt to retreat back into whatever corner I was previously nestled up into.
I come in to the overhang, and I try to get Ray Otto to like stand over him and watch him while he sleeps and like protect him.
I kind of catch Kava's eye, and I'm like,
Okay. Crazy guy.
Yes. Probably not with a handle animal. Yeah, no, 11.
So you're doing that thing where you're like,
You.
guard, and he's just looking right at you.
Throw the ball.
chasing shadows.
Where you're like, attack, and he's just like,
I go back outside.
into the rain?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've been sleeping out there the whole time.
Just out in the rain.
As you begin to step back into the rain, I would like everyone who is awake to roll me a perception check.
Damn. That would be.
Would you consider where we are at in the wild, in the wilderness? Okay.
Yeah, a total of 15.
12. 30.
What?
You might not be able
Not
to
that it
hide.
matters.
I might not be able to hide. Well, maybe.
Yeah, no, that was
Not in the woods, you won't.
Not in the woods.
You are under this rock. With a 30, as you begin to walk back outside, the first thing you notice is that Kava did not wake up to that, to the scream and everything. She is still laying in her spot, and you see Luna is walking circles around her over and over.
I walk over to her and I like check her pulse real quick.
As you reach down and touch her, she is very cold to the touch. And Luna begins to panic, kind of putting her head between your hand and Kava's neck. With your 30 perception check, I will also give you this. Mina is no longer in the caravan. The cloaked figure.
Oh, that.
Uh,
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna do a heal check real quick. See if I can find like any injuries that have caused this. It's a 22.
With a 22, as you begin checking over her, you see this substance. It's like a light blue is inside of her ear.
Knowledge nature.
You may.
8.
You can't identify what it is, not just from the residue of what is.
Lick it.
I'm not doing that. It is not an insect.
Might be.
Oh, she has blue earwax.
I start calling to everybody like, I need help. I don't know what to do right now. I need help.
Omar says, "Is this another cry for help that means nothing?"
Omar, get your ass over here. I need
I was gonna
help.
say, I think I would dash over in a panic too.
I need help. I need help. She's not waking up.
Tamor says, "Cane to me!" As the dog runs over to him, and he like side saddle jumps on him and runs over and jumps off. He says, "What's the matter?"
Feel her, touch her.
He's like, "Okay," and then he looks down, and you see the realization washes over his face, and he says, "What has happened here?"
She didn't wake up. She's just cold. Where's Mina?
Everybody begins to kind of panic and stir. As all of this is going on, the rain begins to kind of die down, and you see the first rays of light begin to illuminate and fill the area.
I'm just gonna make a perception check to see if there's anything that's like trying to sneak around or look in from out of this group.
You may.
That one.
Woo! Our first Nat 1 description.
So I'm going to say you kind of like take a couple steps away from everything that's going on, right? And you begin looking around. This gentleman steps up next to you. He's wearing a ragged shirt. He has a scar down one side of his face. He's carrying a rapier at his side. He steps up next to you and he says, "What are you looking for?"
I don't know.
"Do you feel like something's off?"
Yeah.
I get that feeling sometimes too. As maybe a half dozen more of these gentlemen start to come out from the woods around you,
Oh no.
Oh. I see your 2 aces and I raise you 1,000.
as these people begin to slowly converge out of the woods, the group is in a panic. Nobody like has their weapons drawn. People are still stripped of their armor and everything. As they start to kind of try to figure out what happened to Kava, they start talking amongst themselves. They're like, "What do you mean you weren't standing guard? I didn't think we had to stand guard." They look towards the 2 actual guards. The guards are like, "Whoa, we're only here to escort you. We're not here to protect." And everyone turns as these people begin to appear around the overhang.
I was really hoping they were just a figment of his imagination.
I thought.
Hand is on
I'm
my
not crazy,
sword,
you're
but
crazy.
I do not draw it.
You draw your sword, and they don't.
No. My hand is on my sword, but I
Oh,
don't
but
draw
you
it.
don't.
I don't.
Specifically,
Specifically, do not draw it.
Dude.
So just
Yeah.
subtract one of those points from earlier.
As you see maybe a dozen people begin to converge out, all of them looking of ill repute and very confident, as they seem to have caught you all unaware. And they are right there at the mouth of this overhang. As this is going on, you see a gentleman, and I say gentleman because he is dressed in a black and red suit. He looks pristine, not his entire visage is dry despite it having had just rain. No mud on his shoes, his slicked back black hair intact, and he is impeccably groomed, well shaven, with a very annoyed expression on his face as he steps up and regards all of you. And you see stepping out from beside him is a kobold. Electric blue, standing about 4 feet tall. This kobold is wielding a dagger with leather armor. He looks at all of you with a sinister grin on his face. "Ha! Yes! We have surrounded you! This is an ambush!" The gentleman in the suit says, "It's not a very effective ambush if you announce that it's an ambush." He says, "Silence! We got them right where we want them," he says as he looks at all of you. "Now, no one here has to get hurt. Hand us your gold and we'll be on our way." One of the guys turns and looks and says, "But you said we was gonna kill them." No, I said we might kill them. You said probably. Probably kill them.
Probably might kill them.
Probably kill them. As he points the dagger at all of you, the dagger being about that long. What are you laughing at?
You think you can kill us?
Of course! I've got you surprised!
Well, of
and
course.
almost outnumbered!
Are there any
Yeah,
ranged
it's-
weapons in this group?
Of his group?
Yeah.
Yes. There are 2 men with crossbows. And they are all either holding their weapons to the side or ready to use them.
Of course, you see a group of nobodies.
Yeah?
So
Two
how
guards
much-
who obviously don't know what they're doing as I look over at them.
They have their hands on the pommel of their sword. They look at you like,
And
Why are you calling us out, bro?
and other peasants. Of course you can take them.
yes! We have permission for this gentleman.
But
How much-
do you?
Have permission?
Yes.
I'm confused. He said, wait, we don't need permission? The gentleman in the suit says, no, you're catching on. He says, we, as bandits, are going to take anything. The air disperses suddenly as you see this child about, you said 9, appear in the air and drop into the mud at the foot of this kobold. The kobold jumps in surprise as he looks down and looks up and he goes, from nothing I have manifested life!
I would use that distraction to immediately rush one of the rangers.
All right. So, as you get ready to rush the ranger, right, the kobold in a panic looks down at you. Before you can really register what's going on, he grabs you by your shirt, takes the dagger, and he says, no, you stand, he screams in pain as he pulls back, and you see a ferret biting onto his finger and just going to town. He screams and starts to fling this weasel from side to side, and I will need the group to roll initiative next time. Thank you for joining us, everyone, and I will see you on the next episode. Goodbye.
Toodles.